Hey y'all, welcome to the live. Hey y'all, we're gonna be doing something a little different today. I'm waiting for people to jump on the live. I'm gonna start sharing my stuff and I'm gonna start talking soon. I'm gonna be talking about dating as a heavier set woman today. I'm gonna be talking about that, talking about my experience and also just to give girls confidence. So I'm waiting on more people to jump on the live before we get started. So share, y'all. And I'm actually making my live public. I'm trying to make my live public. Let me make it public. I don't think it's gonna let me have it public for Facebook, but I guess we'll have it up. So hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Lacey Ariel. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, welcome to my page. My name is Lacey Ariel Jeter, and I usually do my show in the morning, Rise and Shine with Lacey Jeter. I'm actually off today. Y'all know I be getting that show in before I have to clock into my 9 to 5. But today I got time today. I got time today. And today we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be talking about dating as a heavier set woman, plus size, or even if you just thick. You don't even have to be plus size. If you're just thick, right? Because I've been skinny in my early 20s to about 25. I was skinny. Even though I've really never been skinny. Like I've always had curves on me, but I was smaller. My childhood and teenage years, I was heavier, and right now I'm heavier. So, and I have PCOS. So that's one of the reasons why I've never been a size 2. But I will say this, being a bigger woman, you can get men. I don't know why there's this stereotype that big girls don't have good options. So we're going to be talking about that today. So before we get started, I just wanted, I always get compliments about how I smell. People are always telling me, Lacey, you smell so good. You smell so good. What are you wearing? And I'm going to tell you this. When it comes to my fragrances, y'all, my secret is alt fragrances, the best fragrances in the world. And the thing that's good about alt fragrances is that it's actually the dupes of the higher end fragrances, right? But without that price tag, right? And so today I got like a bunch of new I got 3, not a bunch, but I got 3 new alt fragrances. And if y'all don't know, I have a bunch of them actually. I've been wearing them for the longest time. Like I got all this. This all alt, right? My favorite one by alt being Stiletto, which I always get compliments on this right here on this one. And actually Stiletto, and it's empty pretty much. But Stiletto's actually a dupe of Good Girl by Carolina Herrera, right? The one by Carolina Herrera is $132, right? That price tag, it did the full size is $132. But on all, I paid for the Stiletto, which it smells the exact same as this. I paid $39.99. And it lasts all day, right? So definitely check out alt fragrances. Right now they have the new pumpkin spice, right now because we're going into fall, right? And it smells so good. And I'm going to pair this up with my EOS vanilla cashmere lotion. Ooh, you're going to be smelling like a dessert girl. And if you are not a woman, they actually have fragrances for men as well. So they have colognes for men as well. I'm getting that, y'all. I'm going to show y'all that. This right here is Blue Horse. And this is actually a dupe of the Polo. I think it's Polo Blue by Ralph Lauren, right? But this smells so good. They have male colognes and they have the dupes for that. And it smells so good, y'all. It's Polo Blue by Ralph Lauren. That's what this is a dupe for. Blue Horse, right? $39.99. And you can actually get 3 colognes or 3 perfumes from Alt for $99 right now. 3. And the shipping is very fast, right? So please check out Alt Fragrances. They are the best. That is my secret, y'all. This is my favorite right here. This is my favorite perfume, Alt Stiletto. And then also I just ordered this one, which is this is Enigma right here. So Enigma by All is actually a dupe of the Prada Paradoxy perfume. And this smells really good too. I like to wear this in the summertime, in the spring months, right? But you actually wear it year round, but it to me it just has such a beautiful smell and like a more cleaner smell that's more for the hot weather. But yes, and I can show y'all the other ones I got. So I think is Nicotiana. This is one of their new fall perfumes, and it smells so good. Like I'm gonna spray. It has like a smell of spice. It has a clean smell. It's so mature. I love it. I love it, y'all. So go to Alt, y'all. For people always asking me, you always smell so good. If it's at work, if it's when I go out with friends, people are always asking me why you smell so good. It's because I buy Alt fragrances. So yes. So we are going to go ahead and go into the video, right? And go ahead and go into the video. So, or the live. I said video. So we are going to be talking about dating as a heavier set, plus size, or thick woman, right? And there are so many women, also men too, because sometimes men can be insecure about their bodies as well. A lot of people don't like to talk about it because I think women are a little bit more conscious when it comes to their physical appearance, and there's more pressure for women to be beautiful and to meet a beauty standard more so than men. But men can also be insecure about themselves as well. But what I want to say is there's so many beautiful big girls, right? I don't think beauty is defined by your size. Beauty is literally any size. You have beautiful girls who are big, you have beautiful girls who are athletic, thick, you have beautiful girls who are skinny, you have beautiful girls who have hourglass shapes, you have beautiful girls of all shapes and sizes. Beauty is actually subjective too, like depending on who you come across, they might think you're beautiful versus somebody else might not, right? At the end of the day, you have to be confident in yourself, right? And one thing I've learned on my journey is to be more confident in myself, is to not be so self-conscious. Like, for example, I just started really doing content again. And I was insecure for a while because I'm like, well, I didn't gain some weight. I'm not like skinny like I was when I was 25 or when I was even in my early 26s. I know I'm 28 years old now. I don't look like I did when I was in my early 20s, right? And that's normal. Women, we gain weight when we get a little bit older, right? because our metabolism slow down. Like, I can't do the same thing that I did in my early 20s, if you get what I'm saying. So a lot of women, they go through that little period where they're having to adjust and they're having to get used to their new body as a woman, right? So, yes, like, love yourself. At the end of the day, when you love yourself, and at the end of the day, when you see your beauty, right? You're confident in yourself, that's going to make people confident. Like, for example, Ashley Graham, she's a plus size model, right? She's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning, right? And she has a fine man. A lot of people love to talk about how big girls can't get a fine man, and it's a lie. Because actually, and this is even in real life. These are celebrities I'm showing on this screen, but actually, even in real life, I see a lot of beautiful big girls. A lot of beautiful big girls, right? Who are with good men. A lot of thick women who are with good men. They're fine, they're handsome, right? And I made a video on my TikTok talking about, and I was thinking about removing the video because I think a lot of people misinterpreted it. But I was talking about, there's a lot of men out here who have pretty privilege, right? And we don't talk about pretty privilege with men enough, right? And there's some men, they're in their soft girl era. And I'm not talking about literally just, acting like a girl, but they are just so relaxed, right? They're in their feminine all the time, and we all have feminine and masculine energy. You get what I'm saying? We all have feminine and masculine energy, no matter your sex or your gender. And a lot of men, when it comes to dating, they're in their feminine. They're not pursuing these women. They're not taking the lead. They're not being protectors and providers, right? They expect the women to be the breadwinners, and they expect the women to, pursue and pretty much be the head of the household, right? Because they are beautiful men, they're so used to women just throwing themselves at them, right? They're used to it. They're used to the attention, right? And as a woman, what I was trying to say is, you need to allow a man to pursue you. You shouldn't feel like you have to chase after a man, no matter if you're a size 2 or not, right? No matter if you're a big girl, it don't matter, right? There is this one video, this more heavier set woman, and she was talking about how a guy asked her on a coffee date, and she refused the coffee date. I think she ended up taking herself out to eat somewhere else. She's like, I can buy my own food. I'm gonna take myself out. She refused to accept a coffee date, right? And people were coming for her, being like, that's all you can get anyway. And it's so disgusting because a lot of the time the people who be talking the most mess don't really be skinny themselves. What I've learned, a lot of big women, thicker women will put down other big women and put down other thick women because they have internalized fat phobia and internalized misogyny, right? If that woman did not feel comfortable going out with that man, or didn't feel like that man was respecting her or really valued her enough to take her on a proper date, she did not have to accept it. Shoot, I can buy my own coffee, right? And I don't blame her, because you have guys, they'll take you out on coffee days. They'll go take you to the park, just walk around the park. I didn't ask for no trainer. I'm asking for a man, right? Trying to, like, let's go walking in the park. And here's the thing. Some girls are okay with a coffee date. If you personally like a coffee date, that's fine. That's absolutely fine, right? At the end of the day, we all have our own standards and what we decide to accept in the dating world versus what we're not going to accept, right? So at the end of the day, you call the shots. And if personally in your spirit you don't want to go out with men who take you on a coffee date or who say they want to take on, you don't have to. Right. Men need to learn how to communicate and talk to women, period. Before social media, it was normal And it was the expectation for a man to take a woman out on a date and to court a woman properly. Because social media because before social media, you had no choice but to impress somebody in person. See, the thing now is that men feel like they can slide in your DMs. They can just text you all day and that's enough. Back then in the day, before cell phones, before social media, before email, before all of that, they couldn't text somebody. They had to be like, I'm gonna have to impress this woman in person. I'm gonna have to get to know them. I'm gonna have to have that conversation. I'm gonna have to talk to them over the landline. Right. When they page my phone, when they page my pager, I'm gonna have to call them at the phone. Right. That was what they did back then. Right now, men, they feel like they can get away with more by doing less. And you're seeing that because actually, there's a male loneliness epidemic right now. There's a lot of men who are crying, saying how lonely they are and how they can't get a woman. And here's the thing, if you're a man, right, honestly, if you're alone, that's because you are making yourself alone. It's because you are deciding to be alone, right? Or you're just coming off as just such a butthole, or you're just not a good person. You're being a jerk, right? That you're being misogynistic, you're sexist, you're being narcissistic. That's why you're not able to get women. Because honestly, the way you're coming off, you're not being a nice person. There's no excuse for men to be alone. There's so many women in this world. So many, right? For women, it's a little bit of a different story because with women, you have to be more careful, right? As a woman, it's dangerous out here, right? There's all kinds of men, and it's actually more dangerous for a woman to be in the presence of a man than it is for a man to be in the presence of a woman, because biologically men are just built bigger. Men are stronger, men are more muscular. A lot of time men be much taller, and men can hurt a woman, right? They can do something to overpower a woman physically versus a woman with a man. A lot of the time a woman is not bigger than a man, right? A lot of the time also men are just more animalistic. They're hunters, so they're more aggressive, right? So women have to be more careful in the presence of a man than a man being careful in the presence of a woman, even though there are women out here who are dangerous to men, who beat men, and who, have issues with, there happen when it comes to the R word. Yes, men get R worded, right? Men can deal with sexual harassment and sexual assault. It is a thing, but in general, it is just more dangerous for a woman when it comes to the dating world than it is for a man, because a man calls the shots, right? So the reason I posted that video was to let women know you don't need to get with a man who just in a soft girl era. He's not taking any action. He expects too much from you. He expects you to coddle him, right? As a big girl, you don't have to deal with a man like that. You don't have to deal with a man like that. And people were like saying, well, big girls are easy. Big girls will pay for everything. No, I'm not paying for nothing. And so are a million other big girls not. Right? There's some guys, they don't like big girls. They prefer, athletic or skinny. Right? And then there's some guys, they prefer big girls. Right? So at the end of the day, I think there's this automatic assumption that bigger women have lower self-esteem, and that's not always the case. It's not the case. And so because big women have lower self-esteem, because we live in a very fat phobic world, right, that likes to label bigger women or thick women, then people like to target us more. But if you look at, actually, to be honest with you, all women are having issues with men nowadays. A lot of women, like even women who are in shape, women who are considered models, right? Women who are considered the beauty standard are having problems with men. And a man will cheat on a woman no matter if they're the beauty standard or not. A woman can, a man can be with a woman who looks like Beyonce, a woman who looks like a straight model. She just came out of Vogue magazine, and he will still cheat all over her with a woman a lot of the time who might even be less attractive than her. That's the reality of the situation. And also, if you think about love, love is not based on how somebody looks. Love is not based on size. For me personally, I've talked to men of different sizes. I've been with athletic men who have had muscles, who've been in the gym. I've been with men who were heavier set, who were tall, and who, were chubby, and they were cute as heck. I've been with men who are skinny and tall, right? I've been with different sizes of men, right? And I can say that I never looked at them or judged them because of their size. Do I kind of have a preference? I like thick men. My preference is I like thick men. I like men who got meat on them, right? I like if it's muscle or if it's just they're even chubby thick men. I like a stocky. I like men who are stocky, right? That's my preference, but I've dated outside of my preference. I will date a skinny dude, right? I will date a dude who's more lean, right? I'll date a tall, skinny. I've dated tall, skinny dudes. Actually, the last dude I had a crush on was tall and skinny, actually. Was he my preference? Not necessarily physically, but he was still fine to me. Like you know, I've talked to all kinds of dudes. So a lot of the time it's like that with men too. You don't always have to be a man's preference to get with a man or for them to be interested in you, if that makes any sense, right? It's just like cereal, right? Sometimes I like cinnamon toast crunch. Sometimes I like frosted flakes, right? Sometimes I like Captain Crunch. Sometimes I like Fruit Loops. You know what I'm saying? It's just something as simple as that. Like people put too much emphasis on preferences, specifically even when it comes to race. This is not necessarily a race video, but a lot of the time, even when it comes to race, people will be like a man. Like I have to get a person of this race, this skin tone. And a lot of the time, they don't even be just having preferences. A lot of time, it be stemming from racism or internalized colorism, right? You have to know there's a difference between being straight up racist and colorist versus having a preference. Does that make any sense? I think a lot of people do the same thing when it comes to size, right? It's okay to be like, I prefer this, but I'll totally date this, right? Because to be honest with you, even though my preference has kind of always been a thicker, heavier set or muscular dudes, like stocky dudes, I've adored some of the skinniest guys. I've adored guys who've been tall and skinny. I've the biggest crushes on guys who have been tall and skinny. And I'm not gonna get too personal, but when I was in college, like I dated somebody who was tall and skinny. Who was skinny, right? There's a lot of times the skinny guys like big girls. Like I've noticed that. Like the tall, skinny dudes actually love big girls. Right? They love us a lot of the time. Right? Like the nerds too. The tall nerds, they like big girls too. They like the thicker, heavier set girls as well. Um so at the end of the day, like this stuff doesn't like a preference size should never be the determining factor if you're gonna have success in the dating world or not. Because there's always somebody for someone. There's always someone out there who likes a person like you, likes a person of your size, and there's actually always someone out there who would love to be your size, right? But yeah, like I've talked to different types of people. Like I told y'all, like, even when it comes to race, like, I'm very open-minded. I've talked to different types of people. I've not just dated one race, one skin tone, even with crushes with men. Like, I've had crushes on men of all different types, right? But yeah, like, there is some beautiful big girls who are with good men. And I'm gonna kind of go into it. Like, for example, I'm gonna go back to Monique. She has never been a size 2, right? But guess what? She has a good man. He is very handsome. A handsome black man. And this man don't play about her. Cuz I've seen interviews of him and her together, and he does not play about her, right? And he's handsome. He's a handsome older man. And like I said, like, even if you're young, you don't have to date necessarily men who are young too. You can date a little older. Like, for me, I like to date older, to be honest. And then we have Serena Williams. This is probably not the best. It's not the best picture of her. I'm sorry. But I wanted to show her family. She has a good white man. And then there's also this stereotype that white men only like thin black girls or skinny black girls. That's also a stereotype, specifically with interracial relationships. And you do see a lot of skinnier, thinner frame black girls with white men, but there's white men out here who also would date black women who are heavier set, who are thicker. They exist. They exist. I think the reason that's a stereotype is because white men tend to be more into thinner women just because their group of women, white women, tend to be just naturally thinner in frame. Black women tend to be curvier. Just in general, overall, we're much curvier than white women are. That's not all black women, because there are black women who are very thin. Now, all black women have a big butt or who are curvy to the gods. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of black women who are very curvy compared to white women. White women in general tend to be more thinner framed or just smaller framed. So white men are also very race loyal. White men are going to date white women. They're going to always be there for white women, right? So they're going to probably date women who kind of, I don't want to say who mirror that more, but who kind of mirror that type of frame because their women are thinner, if that makes any sense. Right? But there's like Gabourey Sidibe. She has a lovely husband, and she's so pretty. Like, Gabourey has such a pretty face. One thing about big girls too, we be having the prettiest face cards. Like, I like the prettiest face. Like, the face cards just never decline, right? That's one thing I love about big girls too. Like, a lot of us have beautiful face cards, like, just beautiful. She has the prettiest face, right? And her whole temple is beautiful because she was created in God's image, right? But she has a lovely white man as well, and she's not a thin frame black woman, right? There's and people like to say that it's harder for bigger women to date interracially just because of that stereotype, right? Because they like to say that black men in general are just more open-minded to bigger women. Like, black women tend to like thicker frame women more so than white men do. And this is air quotes. This is based on stereotypes, right? But that's not always the case. I would just open your mind. Like I said, have confidence. But there is a lot of black men, they love thick women. Black men in general tend to be more accepting of big women just because, like I said, black women in general, we tend to be more curvier and thicker framed as a whole, right? Again, this is not everybody, but that's just, in general. So another beautiful black woman in the media, and this is an old picture of Lizzo before she lost all that weight. But Lizzo has always had a loyal man beside her. This man is very private. She doesn't really talk about him that much, and people don't even. A lot of people didn't even know she had a man, but she's had a man she's been with for years, years, and this man has stood by her the whole time. And you don't really hear much from him, which is beautiful because he kind of just allows her to, have her fame and to have her spotlight and to be able to shine. And I kind of like that because there's some men out here, they need to allow their women to chase their dreams more. There's too many men that sometimes are too competitive with women, right? They know that their woman has these dreams and aspirations, but they don't want to see their women win because there's a little bit of jealousy there. There's a little bit of jealousy, but she's had this man for a while. This is her. This is a earlier picture after her weight loss. Beautiful couple, but he loves her down. He don't play about her. You can tell. Actually, all these men that are with these women who are not a size 2, all of them don't play about them. None of them play about them. But yeah, is so at the end of the day, also I think people put too much emphasis on looks when it comes to relationships nowadays. And I was kind of talking about this. I was just talking about how nowadays people are just so fake. There's a lack of authenticity, a lack of genuine energy in the dating world. There's too many people playing games, too many people dating for the wrong reasons, right? And at the end of the day, love should not be based on those things. And a lot of relationship coaches will even tell you don't date for love, right? Date for money, right? And I understand money is a big deal. I understand it. I understand that what Shara Seven always preaches. I get why she preaches what she does preach. And a lot of it be facts too. Because it's like you have a lot of men as well. They want to, go to the bedroom. They expect going to the bedroom on the first date. So why can you not expect to get paid on the first date? It's like I'm going to give you my body and you're not going to get anything from me. You're not going to give me anything but heartbreak. And you're just going to give me emotional neglect because as soon as I give you my body, you's going to be out of here. You're going to do a ghosting scene in a movie. You gonna leave. And I'm never gonna hear from you again. And it's like these relationship coaches be preaching, right? They be saying you need to let a man pay you. Men, they get away with a lot. You give them this time, energy, this feminine love, right? You have so much to give, this maternal energy. Just even spiritually, the divine feminine energy is very powerful. We're constantly giving to the people we love. And these men are just taking, and you're not expecting to get taken care of. You're not expecting a man to pay for dinner. You're not expecting a man to help you out financially, but you're giving all of this. You're just doing free charity work pretty much. So I get why the relationship coaches say what they say. They say don't do 50-50. I absolutely understand that, right? But it's like men expect for you to hook up with them on the first date. So, okay, you pay me on the first date then. Because most of these girls going out on the first date with these men can afford their dinner that these men are covering, right? So I get it. Like, I understand it, but at the same time, I also feel there's this lack of love, though. I've always been the type of person, I don't want to entertain anybody who's going to waste my time and who's going to take advantage of me, or anybody who is not really wanting to be loyal to me and wanting to be true to me. I want to surround myself with people who really have my back. There's a lot of fake people, narcissists, energy vampires, and I will cut somebody off real quick because that's what self-love is. When you love yourself, you don't allow everybody in your space and everybody in your life because it will be a detriment to your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual and your physical health if you do that. Right? If you do that. And we have to understand that, right? Um so it's okay to be picky. It's okay to not want to settle. As a big girl, you owe that to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be picky. You don't necessarily have to be the most vain person in the world. You don't have to necessarily be like a man need to do this, that, and the third. But it's okay for you to have standards. It's okay to be like, I don't want to tolerate that. I would rather be by myself and be in peace. Because a lot of the time when you're by yourself is actually more peaceful than if you were to entertain certain people. I'd rather do that than to deal with than the mess that man got to bring. Because a lot of time a man will be a huge distraction. Even when it comes to career, men can be very distracting, right? When you're in shambles over your man, when you're not in your man, when you're in shambles over a man, when you're sad about men all the time, when you're constantly trying to get in a relationship, when you're constantly dealing with men, it's very draining. It distracts you from focusing on yourself. It distracts you from your career. It distracts you from your friendships. It distracts you from traveling. It distracts you from being able to do all these things that you could be doing right now. Instead of you crying over that man, you could be literally building your business. You could be literally traveling out of the country, going to Italy, going to Cancun, right? You could be saving up. You could be, kind of focusing on your hobbies. You could be kind of defining your skills, like, kind of improving your skills. Right? There's so many things you could be doing. When a man is the first thing on your mind, it just really is very draining. And I'm super happy because I'm in this time of my life where this is really the first time I'm able to really focus on myself, right? And able to not allow how I feel about a man to get in the way of what I want to do in life, right? Because God will send the men when it's time, right? God will send the man when it's time. But at the end of the day, it's all a mindset. It's your self concept as well. Because a lot of the time, people be thinking they're worse than what they are. Women can be very hard on themselves when it comes to men, right? When it comes to men, women can, believe that it is their fault, beat themselves up, feel like they got to look a certain size, look a certain way, feel like they got to like present a certain image. It is not who they are. It's a false version of who they are. And they're doing it all because of a man. A lot of the time, there's even this quote I heard from a content creator saying, a lot of the time, there's a man behind a very unsuccessful woman. There's a lot of the time, behind every unsuccessful woman is a man, and that I sort of agree with that. I actually agree with that because a lot of the time these men will just put you through an emotional roller coaster. A lot of the time they don't even know what they're even doing, right? A lot of them don't even think with their brain or their heart. They think down there. But yeah, it's the first time in my life I really was like, I'm gonna really focus on me. I'm gonna focus on chasing my dreams, right? I'm gonna focus on improving my physical appearance. Even though I'm not a size 2, I've been focusing on my physical appearance. I want to look better, I want to have pretty skin. I want to have pretty nails. I want to dress a little bit better. Like I want my hair to look good. It's the first time in my life where I really feel like I want to beautify myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to not only look better, but I want to feel better on the inside. I want my spirit to match how I look on the outside, right? And so you can focus on yourself, right? Go to the gym and just because, and here's the thing, you don't have to be a size 2 to be fit. There's a lot of girls who are heavier set who are very fit. They go to the gym, they lift weights. They're just not a size 2 doing it. You don't have to be skinny and be fit, right? You can be thick fit, right? So girls improving their physical appearance. The goal doesn't always have to be extreme weight loss. The goal can be I want to build strength. I want to tone up. I want to recomposition my body, and you could do that, and that's beautiful as well. At the end of the day, also if you want to change your body, that's up to you. I'm not going to be the girl who tells another big girl or other girls that they shouldn't focus on their bodies. If that's what you want to do, If you want to get in shape, if you want to be toner, if you want to look better, go ahead and do it. Right? Go ahead and do it. I am not going to tell you not to. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're just fine. You don't need to do anything, even though you're beautiful. But if you genuinely want to do it, that's also a good thing. That's a great thing. Right? So at the end of the day, it's all about your self confidence, right? And how you see yourself, right? Because people gonna always put big girls down. I've had people put me down for my size, right? I've been bullied. I've struggled with this stuff all my life, and then I don't care about what people think about me. I'm at this point. I'm like, you can think whatever the heck you want to think. You can say whatever you want to my face. Like even telling somebody they fat is such a outdated old insult. Like, can you come up with something that's better? Can you come up with a better insult other than telling somebody they're fat? It's old. It's boring. Like that's the only thing you can come up with. You can't come up and God forbid you say I'm ugly because I'm not ugly. And a lot of these girls don't be ugly. The only reason y'all call us fat is because we're not ugly. You know, one thing about me, I might have been big and like be fit, but the face guard has never declined, baby. The face card has never declined for me. And so is a lot of other big girls. Right. So that face card never declined. Like just the prettiest faces. They be looking good. They be dressing real well. They smell good. Right. They be having that good girl. Like guys be obsessed. And I think one of the downside of being a big girl though is sometimes guys will have crushes on you, but they don't want other people to know. A lot of the time this is younger guys like teenagers or guys in their early 20s because a grown man not going to care. Like a grown man is okay with getting with a heavier set woman and a mature woman because they know how a mature woman's body looks like. A lot of the time when you get older you just gain weight. And older men and men who are mature in their 30s and 40s know that, right? But young guys who are like in their early 20s or guys who are like 19, 18, they might have a crush on all the big girls but never even say it or never want to even date them because they're afraid of what people are going to think because they're immature. Little boys don't date thick women. It's little boys. It's only young guys. Older guys not going to do that. Right? Older guys embrace big girls. So even if you're like in your early 20s or your mid 20s, maybe date a little older. Date a little older because those guys are not going to be as critical of your appearance versus these 20 somethings. In they 20 somethings, they haven't gone through that aging process yet. They got that early 20s glow. Right? That early 20s glow is they don't have to worry about their metabolism have slowed down. Their metabolism hasn't slowed down yet. Their metabolism is sharp. They can eat whatever they want. They can eat Popeyes every day and be in shape. That's that early 20s body. But wait until they get a little older. Just wait. Just wait. When they get a little older, it's going to change. They're not going to be looking like that. Right? Or they're going to have to work harder to stay in shape. And so all that stuff they were talking about when those men who are bullying the big girls, a lot of the time the guys who be picking at the big girls be having a crush on the big girls. That's one thing I've learned too. A lot just because a guy doesn't always tell you they have a crush on you don't mean that they don't. Like I've had situations also with guys where I don't know, I went out in public and I had guys stumbling. When I got myself dressed up and I got myself looking pretty, my hair done, my makeup done, nails done, all that, smell good. I've had situations with guys, they literally were stumbling, like they were falling, like nervous. Like, girl, just like I've had men just like be extremely nervous around me. And you can have that effect on a man too. When I go out, a lot of time I get hit on when I decide to go outside because I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm a homebody. I like to stay home. Like I'm not really as into going out like I used to. and I prefer to just mind my business. But when I do go out, when I actually go outside, I usually do get numbers. I usually do get hit on, right? I always have people in my DMs. It's just something that's always happened. So as a big girl, I've always had people hitting on me. I've always had people interested. And no, these are not like guys that you, and some of them be the fit guys. Like even going to gyms and stuff. Like I've had guys where they've been interested in me, and I've met guys at the gym and I was not a size 2 at all. Right? Actually, let's talk about gym bros. Let's talk about gym bros. Girl, gym bros be into big girls is a fact. They should do a study on it. I don't know what it is about them gym bros, but the gym bros be into big women. I mean into it. Into big women. They love big women. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because these men have, I don't know what it is, but gym bros and big girls just go together. We just go together. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I've dated men who have been athletes and in shape. Literally. I mean, and I was not a size 2, right? I don't know, but definitely we go together. Like, I don't know what it is, but they love big girls. You'll be so surprised. And at a time, like, I was kind of nervous about it because I was like, you're so in shape. Like, why would you kind of be into me? Why would you be into little babe? But it's a thing. Like they really do. And a lot of times some of them have been big themselves and they've just had the discipline and they've had the strength and the power to be able to get past it. Now they're in shape. But some people haven't been in shape all their lives. And I guess they understand that. And I guess the weight don't bother them on a woman. But it's a thing. Like in shape guys will also be the ones in the gym who really cheer you on more than anybody else. They will be so encouraging. Like I remember I used to go to this gym called Brick House. Girl, Brick House gym. I stopped going because it's very expensive, but I used to go to this gym and they had the finest men. You had bodybuilders in that gym. You had athletes in that gym. You had different people in that gym, the finest men. And every time I would go to that gym, I would just always get flirted on. I would always get hit on. I would always be having somebody wanting to help me. If it was at the, like, me with the barbells, if it was me at the bench press, I just felt like at going to that gym, I always had somebody hitting on me. Brick House is no joke, too. I mean, that is the gym. If you're in Columbia, South Carolina, you know Brick House. If you're a gym head, you know about that gym. Like, it's the best. It's beautiful on the inside. They actually moved over there near the University of South Carolina Stadium. They moved. They used to be, I think, was it Taylor Street downtown? But the new location is so much better. And I remember, like, I used to always get hit on when I used to go to that gym. And it was a lot of white men too. So if you also want to interracially date, definitely go to the gym. 100%. Go to a gym like Brick House, where there's a lot of like body big guys and really just skilled men who are into weightlifting. I promise you will meet somebody. I mean, at the time I was not really focusing on dating like that, but every time I would go, every time and so go to the gym. And also that could be an opportunity for you to get in shape. You don't necessarily have to be skinny. You know what I'm saying? As a big girl, you don't have to necessarily be skinny. You can still kind of be curvy, but you going to the gym is just it's going to improve your self-esteem. It's going to help your mental health. And it's actually going to help you in it as a whole. But yeah, I remember I went to that gym. I think I went to that gym for a summer. It was about 3 months because I was doing this thing. This is when I was teaching, and they gave me a discount because I was because I was in the school district. So it was like 50 some dollars a month. It's actually more than that. But at the time it was 50 some dollars a month because like I had my discount because I was in education. So they just gave me a discount, which they were so sweet. And I remember there's this one guy that it was the receptionist. He was cute too. He looked like he was in his early 20s though. Because I would be having guys in their early 20s kind of hit on me too, because even though I was like probably about 26 at the time, 26, 27 when I was going to this gym, and I'm 28 now. Um, and so the guy was probably, he looked like he was like 21, 22. But even though I'm in my late 20s, a lot of people have told me I look like I'm in my early 20s. So I look like I'm like 22. So I have a lot of young guys always hitting on me. They always think I'm a much younger than what I am. But yeah, he gave me that discount. He went through loopholes and everything. And I swear he was like sort of like maybe a little interested, because I always used to catch him kind of looking at me and grinning a little bit. But he like talked to like the manager, the owner, and everything and got me a discount. I don't even think they even had teacher discounts, but he ended up getting me one. And so yeah, he was really cute. He was just young, right? And with young guys, you gotta kind of be careful, if that makes any sense. But yeah, he was very sweet, good customer service, just above and beyond. And I really appreciate the way he treated me, especially being a black woman. I just loved it. I just loved it. But yeah, um gym bros tend to be into us nerds. I'm trying to think nerds, like I remember I went to this bookstore, and it was like one of those vintage bookstores that kind of have like that hippie aesthetic or whatever. And there's this really cute, hot nerd. He was tall. He wasn't skinny. He was thick, but he was super hot. He was just hot to me. I don't know if other people would think he's hot, but I thought he was hot. And I remember I went in there and he was like, he was flirting with me or whatever. And he was like helping me with like the books and stuff. And I was just telling him about the books I love because I'm a nerd like that. And we were just talking about like how I liked Eckhart Tolle, and how I liked all these different spiritual self-help books or whatever. And he like, I think we were talking for like hours. But yeah, like nerds like us too. Like, and he was cute. Like, I mean, I was like, he's totally my type. He's totally my type. Like, I know other girls might be like, but yeah, I'm like, no, he was cute to me though. And so like I ended up getting his number. Like he asked me for my number and everything. Yeah. Like he asked me for my number, and we were talking for a little bit. He was really hot, but yeah, we were talking for a little bit. But yeah, like and they tend to like us. So I would definitely look at gym bros. I would look at nerds. Um Black men is a must. Definitely date black men if you're a heavier set. 100%. Black men are so sweet, especially dark skinned black men. I feel like I've had the best experience, and this might just be me, but I feel like I've had the best experience with dark skinned black men. Just so sweet. Athletic dark skinned black men are the best. They a lot of time they're very accepting of heavier set thick women. A lot of time they like thick women, and sometimes they even like women who kind of remind them of their mother. Um, but yeah, girl, I'm like kind of feeling this or whatever, but they're also very sweet. Definitely date black men, 100%. I'm trying to think another type. Short kings, short dudes. Short dudes tend to like big women. I don't know why. It just is one thing. I've like short kings tend to flirt with big women, like the cute, stocky ones too. They're very sweet when it comes to black women as well. Um a lot of people like, you gotta have a man who's tall, dark, and handsome. But the man don't gotta be tall. I mean, don't discriminate based on height. But yeah, short kings are very sweet. They love big women, love thick women. I'm trying to think another type of man who likes country dudes. Country dudes. I love me. Girl, y'all know how much I love me a country man. Country men love thick women. There's this one time, I don't want to talk too much. There's this one time I was working at this place, and there's this one guy, he was very young as well. I think he was an athlete too, actually, if I'm not mistaken. He was younger than me. I was probably about 25 at the time. Um and he was an athlete. I think he was in college. I think he went to USC. But I worked there, and I would always catch him just staring, like, I don't know. I used to always like just catch him just like staring at me. Like, he was country too. Like, he was white too. He was cute. Um I'd be kind of careful about the country white guys in the South because I don't know who's who, but he seemed like he was pretty cool, and he was very like Christian. He used to wear this cross, but he was cute. I was like, he was kind of cute. I would catch him stare at me all the time, and he would always give me compliments. And I remember I was probably like, at the time, I was more in my thick girl era. I was probably more thick at the time, more so than I was heavier set, but I was not a size 2. I was not skinny. Um and I would always catch him just staring at me. I would just always catch him staring at me. And I remember one time, like, I caught him staring at me, and it's almost like I felt like he was like wanting to eat me. Like, the way he looked like he wanted to like physically eat me. Like, and I used to just always like get this vibe. Like, he was always giving me compliments, and he was just always wanting to be around me. And so, yeah, like, he was really cute too. And I've actually dated country dudes too. Like, I've been in a relationship, and they're so sweet when they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to build things. A lot of them are very spiritual or very like religious, so they when it comes to God, they don't play about God. um some of them, you got to be careful because some of them might come from racist families, though. That's the downside. If you're a black woman wanting to date a country guy outside of your race, because you have black country dudes. I love black country dudes. Black country dudes are a vibe. But if it's a country dude outside of your race as a black woman, you kind of have to be careful because some of them come from very racist families, and they have racist ideologies. And it's not the fact that it's not possible to have a relationship with them. It's just, it might not be easy, right? And then on top of that, you got to know where their mind is at. You got to make sure they're not fetishizing you. And you got to make sure that they're not wanting to date you for the wrong reasons, because some of them fetishize black women. Some of them are into like race play and stuff, and it's kind of weird. So you just got to kind of be careful when it comes to that, as a black woman specifically. I'm just being real with y'all. Here in the South, interracial relationships can be kind of, it can be kind of like a slippery slope. Even though I'm all for it, it just can be a slippery slope depending on who you're interested in, depending on where you're at, right? Because some countrymen, they, like I said, they can come from very racist, conservative, very hardcore households, and they're not going to want to tolerate you at all. It's like you gonna have to deal with beef all the time just for existing as a black woman. And it's like they don't even, they might not even always be racist themselves. Like, they might not be racist, but their family is, and that's just something you have to deal with. So that's the downside of countrymen. Like I said, they fine to me. Like, I like the way they look. I like the way they look. I like their drawl. I like their vibe. But you got to just be very careful because some of them don't be nice. Like, they'll actually act nice in your face, but then behind your back treat you very bad, and do you very dirty, right? Because they have racist people, and they don't want to do the inner work. They don't want to heal their generational curses in their family. They don't want to do all that stuff. So they're going to continue just enabling the bull crap, right? That's the only thing. I'm trying to think. But the upside of countrymen is that a lot of them, they be chivalrous though. A lot of them are very well mannered though. If they come from a good household, they open the doors. they'll take the check automatically. They understand the importance of providing for a woman. you know they will take care of you. If they're a good person, they'll take care of you though. That's the thing about that. So that's the upside of countrymen, but then there's also that dark side. You just have to be very careful, because you don't want to end up in a situation you can't get yourself out of. And you don't want to have to constantly deal with racist people. I mean, it sucks. As some Now, this is if you're dating outside of your race. Now, if you're dating within your race, that's fine. If you're dating a country, like if you're a black woman dating a country black man, that's fine. If you're a white woman dating a country white man, okay, that's fine. You ain't got to worry about all that mess. But if you're wanting to interracially date somebody who's country, that's something you have to be very careful about. I'm trying to think what else. And one thing I like about a lot of dudes who tend to date heavier set women, they tend to just be more down to earth men. They tend to be more humble. They're not as focused on physical appearance and like feeling like they got to get with someone who meets a beauty standard. So they're not as superficial. A lot of the time, these men will like you for who you are. And that's a good thing. That's actually a blessing in disguise. So even if you do get rejected by somebody because of your size, oh well. Oh well, it's a blessing in disguise, right? But like I said, there's many men out here who are good options. You just have to, do your thing. And also alternative dudes, like the alternative guys, the guys who are very spiritual, they tend to like heavier set women too. Um, you have guys who are very family oriented. They tend to like bigger women, especially if their mom was big. Because a lot of time their mothers don't be a size two. And the fact that you kind of remind him of his mother, he might like you. But there's also a con with that too, because you don't want to date a man who's too obsessed with his mom to the point like he can't make his own decisions, and he's like acting like I guess it's a mama's boy. I guess that can be a little bit of a red flag too, depending on the situation. Now, we love a man who loves his mom. We love a man who loves his mom. We love a man who respects his mom, who thinks highly of his mom. Because a lot of the time, when a man really respects his mom, he's going to respect you. A lot of the time, if a man really respects his mom, he's gonna know how to treat women better than the men who don't respect their mother, right? Or who don't have a good relationship with their mother, right? But men who have a good relationship with their mother, they tend to also be just kinder to heavier set women. I've noticed that. You want to get with those who were raised in a good household with a mom who was really there for them and who showed them good example, right? Like my mom is that mom, right? Um so that's one thing as well. That's a type of man who also is a good type of man today as well. I'm trying to think some other men. The mama's boy, you have to be careful with the mom, affecting his decisions when it comes to you, because you want a man who can be leader of his household. So what that means is that he's able to take the lead, he's able to provide, he's able to be able to help, his wife, and he's able to create his own family unit, if that makes any sense. Sometimes these mama's boys, they're too focused on their mom and pleasing their mom, and that will affect the relationship they have with you. That's the only down part of that. And you don't want the mom treating you any type of way. You want a man who's going to be able to be like, I love you, mom, but you don't need to be treating my wife this way, my girlfriend this way. You have to, you can't tell me what to do. I'm a grown man. I make my decisions. You want a man who has a sense of authority within his own life. And the issue is that sometimes they lack autonomy. They lack self-reliability and self-reliance, because they're so caught up in what their family cares about. If that makes any sense, that could be a huge turnoff. Because that's a turnoff to me. If I feel like a man is too reliant on his mom and is just doesn't know how to make his own decision. That's a huge turn off for me. Um, so that's also something to look out for. I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, like there's plenty of beautiful big women in this world, and your size does not define how beautiful you are. That's the last thing I really want to just mention. Like, size does not make you ugly or not ugly, because there's beauty in all sizes, in all skin tones, in all races, right, in all backgrounds, right. We need to get rid of this idea that we got to label all women beautiful because they look like this and all women ugly because they look a certain way, right. I've seen beautiful big girls, I've seen skinny girls who might not be considered the prettiest, right. I've seen, just it all, right. Just be same thing with skin tone. Just because, and I don't know if this is going to offend anyone, but just because somebody is darker skin, I don't mean they're ugly. There's beautiful. I've seen the most beautiful dark skinned women. There is beautiful dark skin women just everywhere. There's millions of us out here. Beautiful brown skin women. And just because somebody is lighter skin doesn't mean that they're attractive. Doesn't mean they're the prettiest thing on the planet. Right? I Just because somebody, is lighter doesn't mean that they're always the prettiest thing on the planet. And I'm not saying that to like hurt or step on anybody's toes. I'm telling the truth, right? Just because somebody is in shape don't mean they always got the prettiest face, right? I think we're all beautiful kind of in our own way, and it's not always about how you look, it's also your character, right? Your character, your spirit, your energy, right? What's in your heart, that also is what makes you beautiful. And when I was younger, I used to care so much about physical appearance, and I didn't even see my own beauty when it came to like my personality, when it came to my heart, when it came to my soul. I didn't see my beauty, right? Because I just cared about what people thought about me. And at the end of the day, bunk what other people say about you, bunk what people have to think about you. Because at the end of the day, others don't define who you are. You have to have a high self concept within yourself. You have to have autonomy within yourself, right? You have to do what makes you feel good at the end of the day. And if there's anything you need to do that's going to make you feel good, you need to do it, right? Do it. Do whatever makes you feel good. Like I said, it makes me feel good knowing I got my nails done. It makes me feel good to know I do my makeup every day. It makes me feel good to know do my hair. I like wearing my hair, right? It makes me feel good every day. Just being myself, right? And I do what makes me happy, right? Because if you are putting out an energy of confidence and that you're happy with yourself, men are going to pick up on that. Men can literally smell an insecure woman from a million miles away. Men can Men can smell an insecure woman from a million miles away, right? And if you're putting that out, men are going to get the wrong impression of you, and it's going to push them away, or they're not going to take you serious because they can tell that you're insecure. But the thing about confidence is something that is takes one step at a time. We don't always become the most confident person overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's not always overnight. Sometimes it's a process. Sometimes it just takes time, right? It takes constant working on ourselves to get to that place where we're like, I'm really confident in myself, right? It's taken me years to heal my confidence, and years of just focusing on letting go of trauma, healing self-esteem issues, doing shadow work, prayer, getting closer to God. It's taken so much for me to build confidence myself, because but you know what, I look at myself now, I'm proud of who I am. I might not be perfect, but I'm definitely improved when it comes to my confidence, right? At one time I was so shy and I didn't want to put myself out there. And I'm at this point now, I'm like, I'm going to put myself out there. I don't care what other people have to say. I don't care if people like it or not. But yeah, at the end of the day, you got to love yourself. I know plenty of big women in real life who got good men. And this whole and there's a lot of fat shaming in the dating world. Men who will call women big. When a woman rejects them, call them fat or big. You have women on podcasts who are saying, big women don't deserve a man or can't get good men or pay a man's bill, like just all kinds of lies. The thing about the internet is that people can come up on here and say anything and actually preach it as if it's fact when it's absolutely not true, when it's absolutely incorrect. Right? Is your grandmama skinny? How many of y'all have skinny grandmothers? How many of y'all who have big grandmothers who have been heavier set most of their life but have had a man their entire life? How many? A lot of us do. A lot of us don't have grandmothers who are a size 2, but they have a man. A man, anybody can get a man. Skinny, big, thick, anybody can get a man. You know what I'm saying? So we need to stop the shaming. A lot of the time when people shame other people, it's because they're insecure with themselves, right? There's this one fitness trainer on TikTok. I might even show the video. I have to pull it up, but I'm gonna actually get the video. There's this one fitness trainer. She came up on this internet saying she doesn't think a big woman can love herself. Right? A big woman can't love herself because she can't love herself by going to the gym or whatever, then she's not worthy of getting a man. Let me pull it up, y'all. I'm gonna pull this video up. But yeah, just craziness, just nonsense. And it's like, as a personal trainer, why would you tell somebody that? I honestly, as a personal trainer, why would you shame your clients? That's not your job to tell clients what they're gonna do with their dating life. Your job is to be a support and to help them get to the shape that they need to get to. That's the only thing you should be doing. Right? I'm pulling it up, y'all. It was just crazy. Like absolute nuts. But yeah, like and she got so much criticism, like people were really coming for her. And people were like, if you just bitter, just say that. If a big girl stole your man, just say that. Just say that. If a big girl stole your man, just say that. And I'm telling you, big girls can't steal your man. They can. I don't condone cheating or you trying to get a man who's in a relationship, but there's many big girls. They can steal your man. They absolutely can. No doubt at all. No doubt. But yeah, like that doesn't define who you are. And don't let somebody put you down. Don't let somebody put you down. But yeah, like so many people, they were like, you have lost your mind, girl. I mean, you have just lost it. And I think the girl has lost it. Because it's like, I don't understand. Some people just be so bitter. And I'd be like, y'all miserable with y'all's workout routine and y'all's healthy eating lifestyle. And then every chance you get, you come for a woman who's heavier set because you're miserable. I bet you this girl also probably deleted the video too. But yeah, give me 1 second, y'all. I don't want to pause for too long. I'm gonna look up big women don't deserve a man. That's what the girl said. It was crazy. Oh, I got it, y'all. And guess what? This beautiful older woman checked her. And this woman is, I think she's the wife. She's been in a marriage for 20 some years. I'm about to show it to y'all. I'm sending it to my computer, y'all. I'm sending it. Y'all, if anything, I want y'all to end on good vibes and knowing that you bad and that you're a perfect 10, no matter what somebody else has to say about you. Let me I'm adding it, y'all. Just give me 1 second. I'm uploading the video, but yeah, it was good, y'all. That woman, that older woman checked her, because I'm just like, it's funny because sometimes it be the fit people who be the most insecure. It be the fit people who be the most insecure. Yeah, I'm pulling it up. There we go. I got it. And it's uploading, y'all. It's uploading. I hope it I should have probably been added this up. But yeah. And like I said, I hate when, and I've kind of said this multiple times, but I hate when people automatically, I don't think it's gonna let me. Okay. I wonder if I can just show it on, do like a screen share or something for it. I think I might just do that. That probably would be easier. But yeah, people think that, automatically, you know, somebody fit, that they're confident in themselves. That's not always the case. Actually, sometimes it's the opposite. I'm not going to worry about it, y'all, because I don't want to take too long. But yeah, it was just, if you look it up on TikTok, you'll see the video. It's pretty much just like a personal trainer saying that big women don't deserve men, which is crazy, because it's like, who can you tell somebody they don't deserve? Number one, you're not God, right? You can't tell somebody who they deserve to get with, right? I really do truly believe that our relationships are spiritual, right? Our relationships, they're spiritual, right? And because our relationships are spiritual, you can't tell somebody who their husband is, if they deserve a husband or not. Only God can call the shots with that. And I know some people aren't Christian or don't believe in God, but I'm going to say it. Like, you can't call the shots of what God has for somebody. That makes any sense. But yeah. But that's my live, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I hope this helps somebody. Like I said, don't listen to what people have to say. One thing I've learned is that anybody will say anything on the internet. Anybody will say absolutely anything on the internet. And you can't always take what people say on the internet personally, and what people have to say in personally, because there's always a difference between what we see on social media versus what we see in real life, right? It's pretty obvious. I think people feel like they have more or doing better than what they are just because they're thriving on social media, right? Or just because things seem like a certain way on social media. But in real life, it's actually not like that, right? You get what I'm saying? In real life, people are not a size 2 and they're with good men. And actually, to be honest with you, these so-called baddie aesthetic girls, these so-called girls that be getting the surgery, which I'm not against surgery, I'm not putting down anybody, but the girls who are on like the Instagram baddies, to be honest with you, the regular smeggler girls actually be with better men and actually tend to be with good men more so than those girls. A lot of those girls, like the Instagram baddies and stuff, a lot of the time they be having the worst drama. They be being baby mamas. They be dealing with cheating. They be having issues with men. They be dealing with situationships. Like, you don't know, though a lot of the time those girls be going through a lot. And a lot of the time, the people who have the most stable relationship be the regular smuggler girls. It be the regular smuggler girls, right? So Yes. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Again, if y'all are into these lives, you like the way this live was today, where I was talking more about personal topics more so than news, definitely let me know. You can follow me on my socials, and like and share. It's always appreciated when people like my content and people engage. But I'm gonna go ahead and log off, y'all, because I have to cook dinner and I have to do some stuff. But again, it was good to talk to y'all, and I'm gonna probably start reporting news again tomorrow. But yes, I wish y'all a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.